Good morning everybody and welcome to our Sunday morning service after another week in lockdown. Something I've been thinking about in choosing songs and looking at YouTube videos is some of the older songs, the videos, some of them come from a time when the production values were not quite as good, and it's sometimes a bit cheesy, and it's actually harder to find videos for some of the older songs. But we're starting this morning with an older song, a classic, Come Now Is the Time to Worship. And I was really surprised at how many different versions there were, all of which were very different from how we usually do it. But I guess anything that isn't just a single acoustic guitar at the moment is different from how we do it. But the song "Come Now Is the Time to Worship" is a strange one because it can fit at the beginning of a service. It can fit after a very kind of joyous period of praise, when you want to quieten something down for worship. It can come at the end of a service. But the phrase "now is the time to worship" it quite literally fits anywhere. It fits in any part of a service. It fits in any part of our life. When we're feeling absolutely on top of the world, now is the time to worship. When we're feeling down in the depths, now is the time to worship. When we're confused or struggling or living with absolute clarity, now is the time to worship, because there isn't a time that isn't a time to worship. So that's where we're going to start this morning. Come now is the time to worship. But I've chosen a version that's more upbeat than perhaps we would normally do it. We're then going to move on to a song that I think is very fitting for times that are uncertain. God, I look to you. I just want to read the words. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. And listening to the news, we're perhaps in a phase now where people are, on one hand, people are starting to talk about easing of lockdown. On the other hand, I know in my work we're making contingency plans for still being in lockdown in September when the new academic year starts. But God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Whatever our circumstances, Lord, we won't be overwhelmed. And we won't be overwhelmed when we have God's vision to see things as he does. And after Andy's message, we're going to finish today with another fairly new song for us, Build My Life. And just as we come to worship this morning, I want to start by reading the words of our final song, because they just speak about God. They just speak about how we come before God and how we look to God. Build My Life says, worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe, we live for you. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I do hope you find comfort and encouragement and blessing in this morning's service. And as I've said so many times, I do look forward to being able to join in praise and worship with you again before too long. In the meantime, let's enter into praise and worship with God this morning. Thank you.